Hi everyone, it's Kelsey from Junkjournal Magic. It's Wild About Mushroom time. They're doing an event. I'm going to go ahead and tag the two people running the event, but I'm not going to list this as Wild About Mushrooms because I'm late. I missed it on Wednesday. I've had a very, very busy week. And being so busy, I did manage to stop at a few places and do some haul stuff. Those are shorts, in my shorts, but you know, it just wore me out. I have chronic health problems, so I'm not going to talk about that. I did do the Faux Slow-Stitched Mushrooms last week, or the week before. This week I tried some new ones. I haven't glued these yet, so you can see I can play with the caps I made. But I wanted something kind of fun, and I found calico. I thought, oh, let me show you what I did, because this is so easy. Let me move these out of the way until I get to them. The calico mushrooms are basically from a napkin I bought at the thrift store, maybe 99 cents. You know how things like this are priced at Goodwill. See, they have the stitching around the edges? That stitching is perfect. You have to do very little stitching on this mushroom cap, which I like. I like that a lot because I'm lazy. Next, okay. They say you should say you're efficient, so I'm efficient. But what I did was I used a card like this, and this card, or actually this one is better. I have two different cards like this. I don't know where my friend gave me a whole stack of these, and I've slowly been using them, but I just grabbed them because I knew they had a pointed corner, and I could take and glue the corner of this mushroom down so I could get that point with the stitching. And I only glued the two straight edges. I didn't glue out here. And then after I glued the corner down, I went in and I just cut it out. You can't see that on the one I was going to show you. So basically I just took scissors and cut over the fabric and kind of made a little curvy line, like a wave. And then I went over to my sewing machine and I sewed that bottom edge. I used Fabri-Tac to glue it. Did the same thing on this one. I got two out of this piece of calico. See the curved edge there? It's not quite straight, but it's just enough to give you kind of a wavy look on that cap of that mushroom. And then I'm not going to grab the giant quilt that I cut up, but I have a quilt I bought for $8. It's got some bad parts on it, but I don't mind. I just cut a few pieces out. And this one I didn't even glue paper to the back. I just stitched around it. This one I glued on some of that cardstock. Just glued it there with the Fabri-Tac, and then I went in and cut it out. I used pink inksters on this one. It was just fun. And then I sewed. I didn't sew at the very top. You don't really need to because I'm going to use Fabri-Tac to glue that the way I want it. And the same thing with this. Just glue them on the way I want them. So there's one cute little set with calico tops, and the base is old hand-sewn quilt. Then I used the same cards, the same for what? Oh, this for the top of this. This was from Goodwill as well. It was a placemat. I really liked the pattern. It gives you really good texture. So you can see I used this end. I cut, it was already open because I cut it in half. Here's a piece of this cardstock. And I went in and I pulled it apart, and then I just tucked the corner up into the corner all the way. You'll know when you're there because it stops moving. I put that in there, and then I glued these two edges up here enough to where when I went back in, I could cut out that corner. And you'll see here that it was a curvy line. Can you see that? Okay, so then after you cut it, you go in and see I have a little bit of, that's fabric, that's not the card, so I'm going to leave that. But I go in and I stitch that edge, and then it's pretty firm because it's got that cardstock in there. And then I just took a piece of the same stuff, and the back is matching colored fabric, so it worked perfectly. So I just cut a piece, and then I put a dot of glue in here, just Fabri-Tac. And then I went and I stitched down the edge of each side and right across the base. So when I put it on there, I'm going to glue them like I said It's perfect. And I did the same with this little cap I made with the back fabric. Here's the cardstock. I just took a piece off there. You can see right here where I cut it out of. And then I took it over and sewed around it. And now I have a cute little mushroom with a stem. This is more of that quilt. You can see right here it was missing a piece. Someone went in and hand stitched that so it would stop fraying. But I think that's cool. It makes me think of outside and imperfections in nature. So, oh, that's just real cool. So that's the second type I made. We used old quilt, and then I used calico and a placemat. And this time, Jilly Bean on Jilly Bean Studios made a mushroom with lace on it. And I just loved that. I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. So I made two tops, and I made a kind of narrow bell-shaped top. And they don't always just cut out perfectly because you're cutting and you think, man, I wish I had matched that. I didn't want to waste lace, so I'm not upset about that. I'm going to use it, but this is what I did. I found some old lace. I have got a ton of lace. I use it. I do. I'm hung up on making nature stuff now. So maybe this mushroom activity will help me break free of that. But I cut a piece right here along the edge, not very long, and I glued it to the brown side of this one. The brown side allows the lace to show some shadow. Get some really good shadow in there. And I like that. I wanted that for texture so you could really see that lace. And then I found some old seam binding. It's lace. Let me show you the color a little better. I just used some kind of taupe seam binding. This was cheap. Actually, I think it came in a huge bag for $3 from a thrift store. And I'm so sad we moved an hour and a half away from, actually more, it's like 2 hours now that we moved away. I can't go there anymore, but I have plenty of seam binding to make crafts. So I did that on the white side. Can you see? You see the two-tone effect? And then I took this to the machine and I sewed this one with an off-white stitch. They both have off-white stitching. But I sewed all around the side and the top of that cap. And then when I do this, I get, am I in frame? Yes. You get little mushrooms, and you can tilt them either way. But when you look at all of them together, it's like a variety. It's so cool. So you can try to do this. It really doesn't take much effort. And I didn't feel like doing it. I didn't feel like doing it. So I finally did. And this is what I got. Give it a try. Bye.